All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Moser, and this is my Unit 2 assignment focusing on finding themes in data using a Tableau dashboard. American political culture has seen unprecedented divide in the last decade. This dashboard will investigate the relationship between state size, population, number of counties, and voter identity. In the first visualization, we use a map to view the number of counties per state. The map is colored so that the more counties a state has, the darker green it appears. Take Texas, for example. It has the most counties at 254, so it is the darkest green state on the map. Generally speaking, larger states are divided into more counties than smaller states. In the second visualization, we use a tree map to show state populations arranged by cell size and color. The larger and darker purple the cell, the more people live in a particular state. California is the most populous state, with more than 39 million people living there. Following closely behind California is Texas, which about 30 million people call home. Both of these states are generally the same size and population, but remember, Texas is divided into many more counties. Now that we know about each state's county count and population, take a look at the third visual in the top right corner. This scatter plot maps each state's counties and population on a chart so that it is easy to see the relationship between the two. Let's do this. This visual has been divided by voter identity, with blue dots being Democratic states and red dots being Republican states. We can see that counties and population are only weakly related, as some states, like California, have less counties but a high population, while others, like Kentucky, have more counties but a smaller population. The trends become a bit more evident when we observe the state samples by their voter identities. Democratic states have the least number of counties and the smallest population, kind of this bundle down here, compared to Republican states, which might have comparable populations, but their state sizes are much bigger. Thus, they're divided into more counties. Knowing that larger states have more counties, but not necessarily more people, let's take a look at the final visualization. This stacked bar graph shows us total population and voter identity divide for each region in the United States. The Northeast is made up of small, entirely democratic states, which makes sense since we know from the scatter plot that the cluster of states with less counties and a low population were Democratic. The Republican states are mostly located in the Midwest and South, where the larger states are located. More than 100 million Southern voters were Republican, making it seem like there's an overwhelming amount of this voter type. But remember Texas? This state alone makes up 30% of the Southern Republican voter sample. Similarly, the West looks overwhelmingly Democratic. But remember, so many people live in California that it accounts for almost 50% of Western Democratic voters. It is difficult to pin down the relationship between population, number of counties, and voter identity in the United States. Generally, larger states are more likely to be Republican, but not always. Larger states also include more counties, which you would assume means they have a higher population of people, but this is not always the case either. The presence of outlier states that have a high population of homogeneous voter identities cloud its relationship with number of counties and population. I posit that the majority of the United States is more varied in their voter identity than is realized in this dashboard, and further investigation into voter breakdown within each state, not across states, would give better insight into our political divide. Thank you very much for attending my presentation. I look forward to your feedback.